Hey you lot, and welcome to another episode of News You Might Have Missed. I'm your host Tom Lord, and on this show we look at a mighty mix of eclectic excerpts ranging from news outlets, blogs and tabloid rags based around the globe. On today's show we've got US patients are getting nothing for something, the Danish government probably can't handle a vindaloo, and New York parents get hit in the wallet once again. But first, you can vote. Just don't run away, okay? According to RTL News, a prisoner escaped in southern France today after voting in the European elections. The man was being held in a prison in Arles and was on supervised leave to cast his vote. The inmate was accompanied by a probation officer and a prison guard, and he fled after leaving the polling station, just as he was supposed to be getting back into a vehicle that would have taken him back to prison. The man, who was still on the run, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for drug trafficking and 8 years in prison for activities as a pimp. He was due to be released in 2026 and was known for his calm behaviour, and according to the Justice Department, there was no indication of such an escape. Two things: A, legend for spinning that yarn to get out for the day, and B, are prison guards really that dim? Sounds like the sort of people that would lend a friend their missus for the evening and wonder why she came home filled to the gills with man juice. US patients are getting something for nothing. No, wait. US patients are getting nothing for something. According to The Guardian, US patients are being charged for hospital facility fees even though they don't set foot in one. Hospitals in the US are buying up doctors' offices by the boatload, and because of that they're applying a hospital facility fee even if a patient never sets foot on a hospital campus. According to Liz Hagen, Director of Policy Solutions at the United States of Care, she said, "It's one of the most egregious examples of hospital financing at the expense of consumers. There is no data on how often people are hit with these charges, but it's widespread enough that one of US Care's own staff members was charged whilst writing this report. The facility fee, being $154.52, added to a bill for a flu test. Jesus, thank God for the NHS. I got nothing for something once, but to be fair, £3 tickets to meet Dale Winton was obviously way too good to be true. I ended up losing an organ in that Rotherham alley. Joke's on them though, it was riddled with syphilis." United Airlines want to make travel way worse. According to CNBC, the carrier on Friday said it launched a media platform to serve travellers personalised advertisements on seatback screens and in its app. And Richard Nunn, CEO of United's Mileage Plus loyalty programme, said, "Unlike some commerce media platforms, United gives brands across a wide range of industries the ability to reach engaged customers throughout the entire marketing funnel." What's a marketing funnel? From brand consideration to conversion, in a way that's highly personalised and relevant. Customers though can opt out of seeing targeted ads through United webpage. And United says advertisers can't access customers' personally identifiable information. But United said about the ads, there is the potential for 3.5 hours of attention per traveller based on average flight time. Oh Christ. It was bad enough that Jet2 subjects you to Jess Glynn and repeat, and Ryanair wake you up to sell your scratch cards, but this? Isn't sitting in a tube smelling everyone's farts and catching MRSA enough punishment for air travel? AI rumble in the sheets, anyone? According to Euro Weekly News, an AI brothel has opened in Berlin. With prostitution legal in Germany, this June, people will be able to book an hour with an AI sex doll at a one-of-a-kind brothel in Berlin. Customers will have both verbal and physical access to the AI dolls. Physical access. The founder of Psy Brothel, cool name, Philippe Fusionberger, said many people feel more comfortable sharing private matters with a machine because it does not judge. But Kerry McClerney, a senior researcher at Leverhulme Centre for the Future Intelligence at the University of Cambridge, said, "It's crucial that we understand what kind of data sets are used to train sex chatbots. Otherwise we risk replicating ideas about sex that demean female pleasure and ignore sex that exists outside heterosexual intercourse." And not only that, the subject of health and safety has been raised, as the public questions the maintenance and proper cleaning of the AI dolls. Despite that, the brothel's expecting loads of customers. Who's the poor git that has to clean those out, eh? Christ, you'd have to have a degree in nuclear decontamination to operate the industrial pipe cleaners needed for that job. This might be a crime against silicon. Is China faking natural wonders now? According to ITV.com, social media users in China were left shocked after discovering a waterfall, hailed as the country's tallest, is fed by a pipe. A video posted on Douyin, the Chinese equivalent of TikTok, showed water gushing out of a tube built into the rocks at the top of the falls. The voiceover said, "I went through many hardships to get to Yuntai Waterfall, but only saw a pipe." And this 314 metre tall spectacle has been given the highest possible rating by the country's Ministry of Culture and Tourism. But a spokesperson for the Mountain Parks Management said changes in the dry season meant the waterfall needed an extra boost, and further said the waterfall cannot guarantee to meet the public in its most beautiful appearance due to season changes, and that it underwent a tiny improvement during the dry season. But a user on Weibo said the source of the waterfall is not what people came to see anyway. I don't think it counts as lying to the public. We've all oversold reality from time to time. I mean, I used to stuff a courgette in my trolleys for an ego boost. Came a cropper though in Manchester Airport. Those dogs got a bit too close to my crotch. The Danish government probably can't handle a vindaloo. According to the BBC, Denmark has recalled Korean ramen for being too spicy. 3 fiery flavours of the Samyang instant ramen line are being withdrawn. Buldak 3x spicy and hot chicken, 2x spicy and hot chicken, and of course, hot chicken stew. This is after Denmark's food agency issued a recall and warning on Tuesday, urging customers to abandon the product. But the maker says there's nothing wrong with the food. They said, "We understand that the Danish Food Authority recalled the products not because of a problem in their quality, but because they are too spicy. But they're still being exported globally. But this is the first time they've been recalled for being too spicy." The Danish Veterinary and Food Administration said it assessed the levels of capsaicin in a single packet to be so high they pose a risk of the consumer developing acute poisoning. But a user on Reddit said it might have been more to do with the Danish people themselves. They said, "I had a friend from Denmark who thought the tasteless breaded shrimp with a little bit of ground pepper on it was too spicy. Not surprised they think this ramen is poison. I've had those noodles and yeah, they're a bit spicy, but now you'd have to get the government to legislate against. It'd be like banning Jojo Siwa for being too edgy." What happens when no one believes you are who you say you are? According to The Guardian, the lead singer of the Four Tops said a Detroit area hospital restrained him and ordered a psychological exam after refusing to believe that he was part of the Four Tops. Alexander Morris filed a lawsuit on Monday against Ascension Macomb Oakland Hospital in Warren, alleging racial discrimination and other misconduct during an April 2023 visit for chest pain and breathing problems. But after he told them who he was and that he had security concerns due to stalkers and fans, hospital staff wrongly assumed that he was mentally ill. He is not, though, an original member of the Four Tops, but he joined the group in 2019, and despite him having ID that could have easily identified him as a singer, he was placed in a straitjacket. He claims he was falsely imprisoned and deprived of his personal property, but the lawsuit said a nurse finally believed Morris was in the Four Tops, and the psychological exam was cancelled. The hospital then offered a $25 gift card as an apology, but Morris refused to accept it. Quite right, it's the same old song, innit? Man has chest pains and doctors go loco down in Acapulco. I got a feeling the hospital will be in 7 rooms of gloom after that court case. The doctors probably need to go back to school again. The Shin kicking world champion gives away his trade secrets. According to The Independent, a man who became the Shin kicking world champion on his first try has successfully defended his title, having trained by hitting a hammer on his shins nearly every day for a year. Mike Newby, 34, competed in the Cotswold Olympic Games, which celebrates English folk sports and games, such as tug of war, hammer throwing, and the main event, shin kicking. And just a few weeks after winning the 2023 edition of the competition, Mike hit the gym, did cardio, struck his shins with a hammer, and practiced martial arts almost every day for a year. And it paid off, having won all 3 rounds this year and came out unscathed, having broken 2 toes last time around. But he leant heavily on his signature move, the shin wheel, which involves kicking his competitor in the shins and then pulling them around so they tripped over his legs. That's just the pissed fighting Weatherspoons. Isn't it weird what people dedicate their lives to? A mate of mine's uncle dedicated his life to gimping a few years back, and my mate said it's a bit weird at Christmas obviously, but they get a hell of a haul at Halloween. What do you do if your allotment doesn't give you that thrill anymore? According to the Irish Times, an 80-year-old man has been jailed for transporting drugs worth €470,000 by bus to Dublin. When asked about his gambling by the Irish police, Peter Lamb, who is 80, said, "When I sleep, I dream of roulette." He said he has an issue with gambling and owed money, and he said he was told to bring the boxes to a casino and people were to collect them outside. The cops found the guy, after being tipped off, on a bus from Donegal to Bucharest with 2 large boxes. He told police he did not know what was in the boxes. They were found to contain MDMA valued at €470,000, hidden in pottery boxes and under children's toys. I think he might have played his best hand yet. I mean, what's he got to lose? On the one hand, he wins, and he can just go back to the casino and rack up another load of debt. On the other, he gets free nursing home for the end of his life. When I get older, I too will be doing organised crime. New York parents get hit in the wallet once again. According to the New York Post, Queen's parents are having a meltdown over a local ice cream truck's astronomical prices, including $14 for a waffle cone. Look at all that sugar. One of the parents, Henry Fernandez, said, "I gave her $20 thinking I was going to get some change back. And then she told me it's more. They got me good." This was after he forked over $26 to treat his 2 kids to a small sundae and shake float after playing soccer in the park. Many customers were unaware that they were getting gouged until the treats were in their kids' hands, because the prices are displayed in a teeny tiny font near the roof of the truck. Alison Bruce, who forked over $14 for a waffle cone, said, "Once you give your kids ice cream, you're going to take it away from them? They're going to be pissed at you, and you're going to have a difficult afternoon. Look, if you don't want to get ripped off, then don't go to New York, simples." Just like if you don't want to have a good time with a lot of women that may or may not have a gentleman's sausage, then stay out of Thailand. I mean, there's other stuff to see, of course, but I've never got that far. Maybe don't piss off your IT staff. According to IT Pro, a disgruntled ex-employee at a Singaporean IT firm caused carnage after deleting over 180 servers. The company in question, IT firm NCS, suffered damages of 918,000 Singaporean dollars, equivalent roughly to $678,000. This was after his dismissal in 2022, when he used administrator login credentials to gain unauthorized access to the system between January and March 2023. First 2 months, he just tested a little program to see if it would delete the servers. But in March, he accessed the system 13 times, running a program script written in such a way that it would delete each of the 180 servers one at a time. But Boris Seapot, a senior security engineer at Synopsys Software Integrity Group, told IT Pro, "Usually, when thinking about cyber attacks and protection against them, we tend to focus on unknown attackers and closing the possibilities of how they could breach us from outside. But in this case," Seapot said, "it raised many questions as to why Nagaraju's account was still active and why it was not being monitored, as accounts like this should be monitored and crucially must expire when a role is terminated." And Javad Malik, at security awareness advocate No.22, said this incident should serve as a stark reminder of the human element inherent to cybersecurity in businesses. And it's not just about technology and its vulnerabilities, but also how individuals react under certain emotional states, and that many organisations still stumble upon the exit process. The human element again, proving why it's the main reason we can't have nice things. That's why I, for one, welcome our robot overlords. Even if they do enslave us into some giant human batteries, at this point I'm so done with working, I could definitely live out my days in some sort of vat. Remember guys, you gotta do what you gotta do to teach these kids. According to Law and Crime, no charges will be filed against a Northern California 2nd grade teacher who police said was teaching with a blood alcohol content 2 times the legal limit to drive. The teacher was arrested for DUI, and child endangerment on the morning of October 2nd, whilst teaching at Neresto Elementary in Live Oak. This was after a co-worker snitched on her being possibly drunk. She was then jailed and an investigation was launched, but Sutter County District Attorney Jennifer Dupree said on Monday that her office had declined to prosecute the case, saying, "It is not illegal to teach drunk." The teacher did drive to school that day, and deputies say she failed a field sobriety test and her blood alcohol content was nearly twice the legal limit of 0.8, nearly 2 hours after authorities had first contacted her, but prosecutors said they couldn't prove she drove drunk. Dupree further said the requirements for child endangerment cannot be met, as there was no specific information indicating that the children in Munston's class were placed in a position where their persons or health were endangered. The mere potential that a situation could arise is insufficient to meet the requirements under law, but the district attorney's office agrees that it's highly inappropriate to teach whilst intoxicated. But however, it's unfortunately not illegal. But just because it's not illegal doesn't mean they can't sack her. I would have thought nowadays it was mandatory to drink whilst teaching. At least in the old days, you could get your anger out on a small child by beating them to within an inch of their lives with a ruler or anything you had lying around. What have you got now then? Beat your own kids and your own wife? It's not the same. The arousal's not there. This here's a meat town, boy. According to NU.NL, American Joey Chestnut is not allowed to participate in a well-known hot dog eating competition in New York in July. This was after the record holder, who once ate 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes, is now sponsored by a manufacturer of vegan sausages. The event in question, the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest, is actually sponsored by a meat hot dog manufacturer. The organiser says it's devastated by the exclusion of Chestnut, and said Chestnut is a national hero. We hope he drops his sponsor and still participates. The contest runs on the 4th of July and attracts an average of around 40,000 visitors and is broadcast live on television. And Chestnut has already won the event 16 times. Totally agree. A competition to pit the finest eaters against the worst processed abomination against God there is should be sponsored by something equally unnatural. Perhaps Sunny Delight or Teflon or Jacob Rees-Mogg. You know, something that's never been created outside of a petri dish or a deal with the devil. Cheers for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you do so fancy. Also, if you think there's any news that we might have missed, please get in contact in the email in the description below, where this desk is below. See you next time for a little surprise and another jam-packed news you might have missed. Stay gravy. Nearly knocked my glass over.